starting live. Okay, now I'm going to move this up a little bit because I think we're big time into live, and I'm not in my seat yet, but we're live, and okay, we're live, and I'm going to go sit down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I think we're live, Dave. We should be live.
Yeah, I can't see you on the Facebook screen though.
Oh, I don't see me on the Facebook screen, but you're going to, because I'm walking around right now, and now I'm on the thing, and let's.
There you go. It's a delay, man. It's just a delay.
Let's do a start thing here. I'm gonna introduce my. Okay, I'm gonna introduce myself, and you can introduce yourself. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay, I'm Dave Getchick. I'm the publisher.
I'm Buddha 309.
I'm the publisher of the Puddin'head Press, and I want to welcome you to Puddin'head Live. And my co-host.
Yes, Puddin'head Live.
Puddin'head Live. And my co-host tonight is David Buddha Hartgarden, the publisher of Waiting for the Bus.
Waiting for the Bus. You see it, the logo is right there behind you.
You see what? Oh, wow, Waiting for the Bus. Now, behind me, I have my Teen Book Slam picture from the Skokie Public Library. From like many, many years ago. It was Thursday, October 19th, whenever that was. Hopefully we're going to.
It was before the digital age, anyway.
Yes, it was before the digital age. And when kids actually knew how to use markers and stuff like that. Eric Ellen Yankee joined us. Diane Deerking joined us. David Buddha Hartgarden joined us. And so we're getting some people here, and I'm going to invite Kathleen Schandelmeyer and Shelley and Dina and Andrea and Dan Cleary and Annabella and Jerry and Lynn and Christine. And I'm going to invite Joe, because we're going to have Joe Rorty on a little bit later tonight. David, we're going to have guests tonight? We're going to have guests? We're going to have guests. It's not just me and you talking to one another. Even though I like talking to you, I like talking to other people, too.
There are other people, man.
There's other people. And we're going to have Sheila Donovan on. We're going to have Joe Rorty. And at the end of this, when the show's over, after we're done introducing poets and having them read and having a little chat, I'm going to play a CD called Cracktopia. See Cracktopia?
Cracktopia.
Cracktopia by Joe Rorty. And there's some really neat stuff on this. Richard Theodore actually appears on this thing. Richard Theodore is an old-time Chicago poet and musician, and he's on it. And we're also going to have Eric Ellen Yankee. He's probably going to talk about communism like he always does. And Bob Lawrence. Bob Lawrence is always entertaining. I love Bob Lawrence. In fact, I'm going to invite Bob Lawrence to watch us right now.
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Don. How are you?
Bob Lawrence invites. Okay, Carrie.
I'm just saying hi to people as they pop up on the screen, man.
Okay, Carrie is Carolyn Carlson. She's one of our guests tonight. Carrie Joe.
Yeah.
So she's one of our guests tonight too.
And Dan Cleary's watching. Dan Cleary.
Dan, I love you. We got to talk about masks one of these days, because the silk masks work great for electrostatic attraction of particles. So cleaning up viruses, silk masks work great. And we had a little discussion about that. Somebody just sent me a message, and Eric Ellen Yankee says, "Have you clicked go live yet?" This, Eric, I've clicked go live. We're live, and you're watching. So
and he actually said you made him promise no politics. LOL.
Yes, I did make him promise no politics. But that's an impossible thing. Hi, Dawn. Peter. Hi, Peter. How you doing? Okay, can you guys do us a favor? If you click share up there, we're going to get even more people watching us. And it'd be really cool to have everybody exposed to the poets that we're going to have tonight perform. And if you hit the little share button, it'll go into your feed, and then more people will see us, and more people will come in, and more people will come in every week after week after week. I'm going to do this next Monday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next Monday. I might do an interview with one long interview with a poet, and I'd like to play a couple other things. Hi, Dawn. It's nice to see you too. Dan Cleary about masks. No, masks. Hi, Dan. Anyways, we're going
Tina,
to...
baby, how you doing?
David, anything going on with you that's new and exciting that people should know about?
I'm on lockdown like everybody else, man.
Okay.
Although Paul Latour, our friend Paul Latour, posted something today that we've been on lockdown for about 10 weeks, or roughly the length of a Grateful Dead song.
Length of the Grateful Dead song. And I hope everybody's drank plenty of stuff during this time, because this is drinking time. If you got the time, we got the wine. So we serve no wine before our time. Who said that? I don't know who said that.
Orson Welles?
Orson Welles.
He was doing the wine commercials?
I think it may have been. I miss Orson Welles. Whatever happened to him?
Now, if you're a beer guy like me...
What are you drinking? What are you drinking? I got some...
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
I got some Yellowtail Merlot right here. And I'm sure Sheila Donovan has meet us. Okay. Hi, Dan. Bob Ledna's here from Atlanta, which is, he's our faraway person. So, anyways, I didn't do a Puddin'head newsletter this week. I'm going to do a Puddin'head newsletter next weekend. And I'll have some more poetry news. Jenny Raislu got a poem published recently, and I want to tell people about that. And some other stuff. If you have any poetry news, send it to phbooks@att.net. And yes, hi Bob, I see you online. Or you can go to the website and find our puddin'headpress.com or puddin'headpress.net, and you can find us there and just leave us a message through the website. So, anyways, David is waiting. If anybody needs to get a hold of Waiting for the Bus, how do they do that?
You email waitingforbus@gmail.com.
Okay.
That's waiting, the number 4, bus waitingforbus@gmail.com.
Okay. So do we got all our commercials out of the way?
Well, I was going to say that while we're having conversations and people are joining us, if anybody's got any suggestions of people that you'd like to see on the show or hear on the show, but we haven't heard from in a while, you can make suggestions, and Dave and I may listen to those, or we may just ignore them completely. Yeah,
you could either post it here on Facebook, because we do read the comments after the show. It's hard to read them during the show, but after the show, yeah, we'll watch them. And I hope you like the new format where we stack a washer and dryer on top of one another. I'm the dryer. So this is like an apartment kind of studio kind of thing. And Lydia Gomez is with us again. And Lydia Gomez has been writing some haiku. And I want to get her on the show reading some of her haiku in the next couple of weeks.
The way you have this set up, Dave, it's like we should be doing the theme from The Odd Couple.
Which one of us are which? I don't know.
There are no good choices in that.
Yeah, there isn't. Only there was a guy I used to work with. He was like my boss, and they used to call him Felix. And then they used to call me Ketchup because they couldn't pronounce my last name. But don't tell anybody that because they'll pick on it.
Dude, I've been called Aardvark, Stargard. Nobody can pronounce my last name correctly, so they just make it up as they go along. Okay. High school was hell for me.
Okay, tell me exactly how to pronounce your last name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
How do you pronounce it?
Hartgarten.
No T. There's only one T. It's Hargarten.
Hargarten. Okay.
Right.
And everybody mispronounces my name. I actually have a Dalmatian name. My grandfather was from Dalmatia. So I keep on looking off screen here because I got Facebook running on this side of me, and I have Zoom running on this side of me, and I have to stoop down a little bit so David could see me through the Zoom camera. So that's why I lean forward like this, and I lean forward to get closer to all of you. And anyways, David, you want to call up our first poet, or you want to yap a little bit more? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm reading comments. Who's first? How are we doing that?
Who's first? Well, I figured
You got the list, man. I got nothing.
there's a lady who's downtown, and she's a poet and she's a memoirist, and her name is like right there. Oh, I don't want to cover it. Her name is right there, right there. Her, I'm gonna bring up. Oh, almost showed her number.
We're doing that one first.
Yeah.
That's special.
I'm gonna give her a call. She's been watching a lot of our shows, and she even had a drink during one. And she lives downtown, and her name is Sheila Donovan.
Sheila Donovan.
Sheila Donovan. And Sheila, hello, how are you? Okay.
This is Dave Getchick, long-time fan, first-time caller.
I got Sheila Donovan on the phone, and I'm gonna put her on speakerphone. So she's on speakerphone, and I hope you can hear it okay, because this goes like that, and okay. Sheila is actually on the line, but she walked away from the phone, I think.
No, I didn't walk away from the phone. I'm here.
How are you?
I'm doing
Hey, Sheila.
right.
Okay.
What's up with you guys?
I was in your old neighborhood today.
You were?
Sheila grew up in Hollywood, and I was in.
I have to do this real quick, Dave.
What?
Lydia, who is on first? What is on second? Never mind.
What is that a reference to?
That's on baseball.
Can everybody hear Sheila okay online? Okay. Sheila, give us a sound check. See if people can hear you okay.
Okay, can you hear me? Check, check, check.
Okay. Let me go turn up your volume
Eric
a
says
little
turn
bit.
her up.
Yeah. Let me go turn up your volume a little bit. So, oops. I'm going to turn on the light. It's bright in here.
My phone is at full volume.
Your phone is at full volume, and and I need to get you a little bit closer to the phone. Closer to the camera.
On my phone.
Okay.
It's right here.
That's as.
Thanks for being our test audience.
Yeah.
Eric. We appreciate it.
Okay, that's the. Oops. Ah, sorry, David. I dropped the phone on you. Okay, Sheila. I think that's all we're gonna get out right now. As far as volume.
Oh, really? And, people can't hear me?
I don't know. Talk a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'm looking out the window but not seeing much because it's extremely foggy here. But I'm also happy that I can't see too much because I live across from Mercy Hospital, and they got a death trailer there storing bodies, which I see directly out my window when I look outside.
Are they actually storing bodies in there?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it's for.
I mean, are there enough people where they're storing bodies there?
Yeah, just like the nursing homes are storing bodies, and other hospitals are storing bodies too.
Okay.
Because this is a pandemic. They normally don't have, maybe they normally have 8 places for bodies, or I don't know what a normal morgue in a hospital has. I've only seen them on TV.
Okay.
So I don't know, what the reality is how much space hospitals have. But
I was in your neighborhood. All of Riverside and Brookfield were flooded.
yes, I know, and it's really, really bad, and LaGrange as well.
Yep. It took me quite a while to get through there, and by the swinging bridge by Lyons over there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the water was almost up to the swinging bridge.
We used to love to cross that swinging swinging bridge of kids. We'd hold on to the wires and rock back and forth to make it swing. And some of the other kids would say, "It's gonna snap! It's gonna snap!"
Well, both David and I went to Catholic high schools, and
I did too.
And you went to a Catholic high school too. You went to Nazareth.
Yeah, Nazareth Academy in LaGrange.
Okay. Did they teach you poetry and writing at Nazareth?
Somewhat, yeah. I remember learning how to write haikus in one class.
Uh-huh.
But one of my other English class teachers she was very angry at me for writing circles above my eyes instead of putting the regular dot. And she was always talking about, you've got to stop putting those goose eggs over your eyes. And I wanted to say, I'll give you a goose egg over your eye if you don't shut up. But, of course, I was a good Catholic girl, and I only thought that. I didn't actually say that. And she actually lowered my grade by 1 grade since I refused to change. And so she gave me bad grades.
Uh-huh.
And I told her, I said, I'm willing to do extra work, extra writing and that to make up for putting circles over my eyes. And she said, no.
You got published in high school though, right? For your first time?
Yes.
You've done a lot of stuff with writing groups, and right now I know you're in a memoir writing group. You're meeting over Zoom, I think.
Yeah, we're meeting over Zoom. Normally it's at the Cultural Center.
What?
But we're meeting over Zoom, and I belong to a few writing groups.
What do you think makes a good writing group?
Well, I don't know. Each one I've ever been to has been different, I think I like the memoir writing group the best because we're all basically in the same age group.
So it's basically the chemistry that's most important, or is the leader most important?
I think the chemistry is very important.
I know you did a lot. You did a lot of workshops with Effie Mahopoulos, right?
Pardon, what about Effie?
You did workshops with Effie Mahopoulos, right?
No.
Oh, I
didn't do any with her.
Okay.
No. She's the one that got me into the Bucktown Art Fest, and had me doing readings as a live poet.
Okay. Well.
And one of the live poets. Mm-hmm. Because she would always say, poetry isn't dead, or there's, dead poets aren't the only one. There's live poets.
Mm-hmm. Well, give us one of your live poems. Give us one of your pieces.
Okay, sure.
And then we're going to go on to the next poet. I want to stay on
the light side.
Okay.
So I'm going to write a poem about having ridden an ostrich in Oudtshoorn, South Africa. Many years when I was half my age and half my weight. Outrageous Oudtshoorn ostriches. Who wants to volunteer? Who's crazy enough? I do. I've been waiting for this for a long time. So have we. Thus begins a crazy tale of playing cowgirl till derailed. No, I didn't have a saddle. A huge bird's feathers I would straddle. Boarding from a set of steps as everybody made their bets. How could I, a mere girl, a female, handle bucks and whirls? No reins to grab for steadiness, just attitude, cock-headedness. Grabbing onto winged feathers, girl and bird moved round together. While all eyes were stuck on me, ostrich eyes all I could see, surrounded by long-necked fowl whose thoughts were to disembowel. Myself could only stare at eyes, a dozen round me, hypnotized. Such lovely lashes, long and thick, but killer legs that might just kick. Gigantic beaks that sure could peck my eyes out and make me a wreck. Lashes long, thick, and curly meant they wouldn't kill me, surely. Leaning back towards its rear kept me steady as they peered. Soon I lost my concentration. Oops! A sliding sensation. I slipped forward down its neck. Oh, I killed it. It's a wreck. As I slid down to the earth, its head popped up, full of mirth. Its neck not broken, it was fine, and so thankfully was mine. A bucking ostrich I'd survived. I'd made the goal for which I'd strived. If she can do it, we can too. But one by one the minute through. Each was bucked off instantly. Their manly brags fell distantly. I, the girl, was now the champ. Ha! They're bragging I did tamp. And it really was that way. The guys, none of them wanted to volunteer until I did. And I stayed on a really, really, really long time. And so they all thought, well, if a mere female can do it, we can do it. And every one of them was thrown off immediately.
Okay, Sheila, we'll have you on in a couple weeks. Right now, I'm going to get you off and go on next poet.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Our next poet.
So we've got some new people joining us. Dina Stewart's online. And,
Hey, Dina.
And Stevie's online.
Stevie?
Esteban Colon.
Really? I love Stevie. I heard Stevie's up in Racine.
I believe he was the poet laureate of Racine, Wisconsin.
Really? Cool.
Yeah?
Cool. I wish we could like when somebody joins us. That'd be really, really neat, but we can't. So thanks for joining us.
So, in high school, poetry was weird for me because they taught me things like the lyrics to the Doors song 20th Century Fox and Dire Straits, lyrics. We did a lot of music lyrics when I was in school, when I was in high school, and that's probably where I get my whole music as poetry.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you
kind of thing.
What?
My music is poetry thing where I think about, Elvis Costello and Walter Becker and Donald Fagen and Bob Dylan, of course. That those guys were poets, but they were coming out of pop music, which made it probably harder to sell as poetry.
Okay, David, I'm going to bring on our next poet. And I'm going to put him on speakerphone.
Who we got?
And you know who our next poet is? Our next poet is Mr. Bob Lawrence. So, say something, everybody, Bob.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Bob Lawrence. Bob Lawrence.
Hey, Bob.
Bob's one of the most entertaining performers I know. He sometimes performs with this very ugly lizard that hates me.
Why do you hate me, David?
Wait, he's there with you?
Yes, I am.
You're sheltering in place with a
my
smell.
agent, he has to watch over me.
You're sheltering in place with a smelly lizard?
Well, he is the agent, dude.
I keep clean. I'm a
He gets all
vegetarian.
the bookings.
Ugly meat that you guys eat.
Eric Ellen Yankee says hi, Bob.
Okay. Yeah, hi.
I got a hi, Bob. I got a yay, Bob.
Now, Bob, you didn't read until you were like an aged person, right?
I started reading maybe around 2003.
Dude, come on. It's not like they had to resuscitate him to perform poetry.
Now, what happened is a couple of things. My friend Harvey Plotnick, who was a really gifted poet, I was taking his mom to see him every week, and he, I don't know, I sort of felt like carrying the torch after he died. He had lung cancer, and we were visiting him. And then another thing was I went to Bob Boone, who headed up Young Chicago Authors, had a poetry slam for the young people. And I was a judge. so after the show, I told Bob, hey, I can do that. He said, maybe in your next life. I wrote a poem about that. But I wound up getting into it.
So you weren't a dynamic performer all your life?
Well, I was in debate club in high school, and I was really good at that. But and in the classroom, I was a kind of an alpha personality. So, but I wasn't like performing poetry, until the early part of this millennium.
When did you first start performing, let's call it, on the poetry scene, and where?
Well, I just, tried to pick up places. I went to different readings and tried to pick up places. My first feature was for John Starrs, was a place that he had. And then early on, CJ was one of my backers. He later soured on me, as he soured on many of us. But anyway, yeah, CJ. And then I would just go to places. I'd go to open mics, like Charlie Newman's open mic. I'd read, and people would like what I read, and I said, hey, let me feature sometime. And that way, I got around.
Okay, give us a poem.
Pardon?
Give us a poem.
Okay, yeah, I thought, you mentioned my being old, so I thought this would be a suitable poem, and it's also, a way of confronting the stress of getting old. And it's, I actually wrote this, by the way. I sent this letter out. I'll tell you a little more about it later on. But anyway, letter in reply to a 60th birthday card received from Shirley Strum Kenny, president of Stony Brook University, my alma mater. Dear President Kenny, merci beaucoup, dankeschön, muchas gracias, and manifold thanks for your recent birthday card. My name, I realize, came up on a computerized list. You didn't sign my card, didn't even see my card. And were we squished in an elevator face to face, you would wonder, who the heck is that guy? But here at milestone 60, a solitary moment in space-time, even the most feeble remembrance is fine with me. However, please reflect long and hard about changing the quotation on the front of your card. Youth is the gift of nature, but age is a work of art. I consider myself late middle-aged. I tone and hone body and mind. I'm a living glass of sparkling wine. Then comes your card trumpeting message rude. You are not late middle-aged. You are old, alumnus dude. Worse yet, the quotation is absurd. A little quiz on the second part. Age is a work of art. Who's draped on the hood of a car, perched at the bar in a beer ad, strutting out letters in a game show? Is it Granny in a bikini? Consider the world of art, the famous Botticelli, Venus popping out of the seashell in divinely naked glory. Who posed for this work extraordinaire? An old lady? Let us talk of Michelangelo. The statue of David is apropos. Open an art book, what do you see? An old wrinkled king or handsome young man? Isn't youth the work of art? Question number 2. Is age a work of art? People fashion works of art. Who fashions the crevices crossing our faces, the reptilian sagging of our necks, the attrition of our muscle fibers, the silencing of our senses along the inevitable decline of endgame? Who orchestrates that symphony of decay? It isn't Beethoven or Bizet. You're president of the university. Surely you must see age is the work of nature and slow time. Let us turn to quotation part 1. Youth is the gift of nature. Is youth a gift, or is there a price to pay? Do you recall your adolescence, Miss Kenny? The embarrassing onset of menstruation, the creeping guilt of masturbation, doing most anything for more sensation, wearing heavy makeup and smoking butts to accelerate maturation. This a time of bliss? Squeezing whitehead zips, desperate for a kiss from that special someone who doesn't care if you exist. Oh, I anticipate your reply. Too literal, Robert. Too physical. Youth features energy and enthusiasm, while age is marked by accomplishment and wisdom. That's so. Chew on these numbers. The telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, age 29. Theory of special relativity, Albert Einstein, 26. The harmonies of bebop jazz, Charlie Parker, 25. The Battle of Orleans, Joan of Arc, 17. The Diary, Anne Frank, 15. Symphony number 8, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, 12. And the names and numbers I've left out would amaze you. The old hold no monopoly on perseverance, accomplishment, or wisdom, nor the young on energy, enthusiasm, or frivolity. Life is the gift. Life is the burden of all ages, young, middle, old, and every shade between. So aware how you have marked the feelings of this year's alums. For next year's 60 card, please search for new maxims. You're as old as you feel? No. Because when I was 20, I felt like I had 65 more years to go. That's the poem.
Thank you, Mr. Bob.
Yeah,
I
actually,
miss you, Mr. Lawrence.
she loved the poem and she sent me a letter back.
Okay.
And then, kind of weird, I worked for Thrive for a while, and a guy was writing a book, Maris Rose. He's writing a book, and he was looking, he wanted to include some poetry, and he didn't want to pay, royalties. So he knew I wrote stuff, and he came across this poem, and he said, this would be really good for my critical thinking class, because it takes everything very logically. So it was published in a critical thinking text. But anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you for reading, Bob.
Yeah.
And we'll have you back sometime.
Yeah, sure.
Lit-
I started late, so I have a lot of making up to do, so I enjoy these performance opportunities.
Sheila
Thanks a lot
Donovan.
for having me on, and have a great show.
Sheila Donovan says, I loved your poem, and Lydia Goldman says, awesome, loved it. So, thank you for reading, Mr. Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, David, we might be having a critical thing here. We're supposed to have more time for our connection here, and it says we're running out of time. I might have to redo it.
Huh.
So, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird because with the number of people we have on here, we shouldn't be being kicked off. And if we are, I'll just have to redo it in front of everybody and explain to them how I'm doing it. What do you think?
In front of everybody?
In front of everybody. And I'll take some buttons off too. People don't actually know I don't have any pants on, so I've been.
You're not
it's
wearing
been-
any pants.
Yeah, I know, and it's nobody wears pants anymore. They just wear shirts. But yeah, I'm gonna bring up. I think I'm gonna bring up Carolyn Carlson and have her read I'm gonna have Eric Ellen Yankee read a poem while I'm redoing the connection if we lose it. So I'm gonna call up Eric right now, and then I'll bring you back on hopefully before Eric's poem ends. So I'm gonna call him up.
Okay.
Eric Ellen Yankee, we're calling you up right now. And I think I got his right number. And
Hey, is it the Zoom
This
giving
is-
you a
this
problem
is
or the
Dave-
Facebook Live?
this is Dave Getchick. The Zoom, it says we're running out of time. And if you're less than 3 people, if you're 3 people or less, it's supposed to be an unlimited amount of time. So it's not supposed
Well,
to be
let's
a
see what
40-minute
happens.
limit. Yeah. Hi, Eric Ellen Yankee. I could hear you, but the louder you can speak, the better. And I'm gonna put you on speakerphone, and we'll see how you can hear on speakerphone. Okay, Eric Ellen Yankee, say something. Eric?
Hi, everyone.
Can everyone hear you, Eric? And I don't know, David. It says less than 1 minute, and I might have to reconnect with you. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Hello. So I stuck to your no politics rule, kind of. I mean, I chose a poem that I had published in the Good Men Project a couple of years ago.
What is it?
GoodMenProject.com.
What is the Good Men Project?
It's a website where they write about men's issues, basically, like how to be a better man in the world today, like how not to be a misogynistic asshole. I can swear, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Pretty much what they do, kind of the sort of, and they publish poetry too.
Okay. They publish poetry. When did you get this published?
It was a couple years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it's still on their website anyway.
Okay. What's the name of the place that published it?
The Good Men Project.
The Good Men Project. I should send them something.
You should.
It sounds like it's really worthwhile. Anyways, read us a poem while I'm reconnecting David.
Okay. This poem is titled Dime. This one is dirty, sour breath, rusted twin, half of a folk band called Nickel and Dime. You got $1, you got more than I do. I spin quarters in my mind, trying to imagine what face they'll show when they finally land in my degenerate cup. I think I'll shave my beard tonight by the lake, talking to the spirits in the shells by that old toothless water, tunes my ears to the mercy found only in the quiet of a ripple.
What?
That's the poem.
Thank you. Where did you start reading initially in Chicago?
I started reading at In One Ear in Rogers Park, and then Book of Soul, which was they used to be held in Rogers Park on Sheridan and Pratt at Royal Coffee.
Royal Coffee. Okay.
But yeah, those were my first 2 venues, and I was not reading the kind of poetry that I do today. I didn't get started on that. So I had been writing poetry for about a year, maybe 6 months.
What
And then I
kind?
got all political.
So initially you didn't start writing political poetry at all.
No,
Okay. You went to DePaul, right?
I went to DePaul for undergrad, for my undergraduate in religious studies,
Uh-huh.
and my master's degree is from Western New Mexico University, and that one's in creative writing and English literature.
Okay, hold on a second, Eric. Okay, sorry about that.
No. Yeah, so it was when I was in grad school that I really decided I was going to write poetry. And that was around 2012, 2013 when I started grad school. So.
Now, you got a degree in religion. Religious studies, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay, I'm having a problem getting David back. Has that influenced your poetry at all?
I think so. I think there are religious elements to some of my poems. There's certainly spiritual elements there. I mean, that kind of religion and spirituality is one of my strongest influences ever since I was a teenager. Just reading as many books on Buddhism and Hinduism and everything I could get my hands on. Wicca, I was just, as a teenager, I was just tearing through all of it, just reading hundreds of books on these different religious traditions. And then when I got to DePaul, I was like, yeah, I think I'll major in religion. That makes sense for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm having some technical problems here. I'm not sure what to do about them.
Well, why don't I read you another poem while
Yeah,
you're...
read me another poem, and then I'm going to and then maybe get somebody else on the line. Okay, so read us another poem.
Okay. This poem is from, these poems are from my upcoming full-length collection called Ceremony of Ashes, which will be published by Weasel Press at some point. And this poem is called Lighter. I can't forget him, the round face with red and blue cheeks, and a scarf wrapped tight around his head. He had a cigarette sticking out of his mouth. The head had popped up out of a sleeping bag behind a concrete wall. His voice was nasal and desperate. Hey, man, got a lighter? No, I replied, I don't smoke. I kept walking. There under the viaduct, I thought I'd seen the remains of God. There were others there, too, but they stayed silent and asleep in their polyester coffins, tightly zipped up and kept hidden from the eyes of passing cars.
Okay,
So, yeah, that was, I was walking under a viaduct and, this guy just popped up and asked me for a lighter, and for some reason that moment stuck with me, so I turned it to that poem.
okay, I'm going to get you off the line and bring on Carolyn Carlson.
All right, thanks, Dave.
And still work on Buddha here. Okay, let me talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Dave.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, we are having technical difficulties. I'm trying to bring up Buddha again in a second. I've restarted things, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to call up Carolyn Carlson. Carolyn Carlson, I met reading on the North Side. She was reading in Heirloom Books when I met her, and I featured her at the Gallery Cabaret, and I like her style of poetry. Hi Carolyn, how are you? Okay, I'm having some technical problems. So, you're watching my technical problems live on Facebook. Okay, can I put you on to read a poem right away? Okay, I'm going to put you on to read a poem, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about poetry. So here I'm putting you live, so I could get David back on the line. Okay, here you are.
I got it. Thanks.
This is Carolyn Carlson, and Carolyn is a Chicago poet, and like I said, I met her at Heirloom Books, and she read at a lot of Eric Allen Yankees readings too, and came to the Gallery Cabaret, and I like her stuff. So Carolyn, give us some of your stuff.
All right, here's some of my stuff. As usual, I have been agonizing over, what to read, but I have settled on this one. Interestingly enough, it's called Restless. I wait for sleep to come, like a late-night pizza delivery, jonesing for just a taste. But it's more like a thief in the night who robs me of precious hours and makes her get away with haste. Waiting seems to be a constant theme, turning up like a bad penny. I can't shake loose. Change, another storyline, blurred by tired eyes, no longer clear, straining to see what's in front of me, but I only know what I left behind. I am older now, wondering who decided it was a good idea to invent clocks, as I sit in the dark silence inspecting digital digits like my blues that fluoresce, reminding me of all the time past since I last felt your caress. I used to be a little more careless and free, but not from worry or my anxiety. I'm certain the etchings on my face did not get drawn by hands completely free, yet I still hope to be more beautiful than I am. Except I am, certain of my sanity, slippery grip so it may be. I am a contradiction, left brain battling right, especially at night, while I lay and wonder how clocks came to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyways, I'm still having problems with David. I'm sorry, David. I guess I hate Zoom.
Well, I do see that he's still hanging out with you.
Yes.
You know,
I mean, David, keep on hanging in there for a second, and
Yeah.
I'll work on this while I'm talking to Carolyn. Anyways, are you a Chicago native?
Yes, I would consider myself a Chicago native. I was actually born in Berwyn.
You were born in Berwyn?
Yeah, Berwyn.
You were born at McNeil Hospital?
I was born at McNeil Hospital.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was born there too.
Well, why do we get along so well? It's
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Berwyn, but don't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody you were born in Berwyn.
and don't tell anybody I was born in Berwyn.
No, I don't know why, but it's
Yeah,
something
so we,
like...
as a young girl, I lived on the south west side,
Uh-huh.
and then we moved when my parents got divorced, and my mother moved us north, and I was in Evanston for just a short time, and then was in Chicago proper since about 8.5 years old. Been hanging out here ever since.
Okay, where did you
Love this place.
first start reading?
I did my first reading in 1 year, right at the. It was we were still at the Heartland Cafe, or right next door at the. I think it was called the Red Line Tap, and it's really only been a couple of years. I've been writing poetry for a long, long time, most of my adult life, and never even really knew that there was other people out there like me that, do things by day and then secretly they're writing lots of poetry at night. But I got brave and I went out and I met Gregory Curry, who, as many of us know, has recently passed. And I did my first reading there. And then I got hooked up with you at Heirloom Books and, at Gallery Cabaret. And I'm happy to be with you this evening.
I wish we had David back, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to have too many moving parts here.
Yeah, no
Now,
worries.
are you leaving Chicago in the next couple of years?
Well, I don't know that I'll be, leaving, but that's the goal. I hope to go travel north. Vermont is a place actually that's calling to me. It's a beautiful area. I never knew that I would, grow up to enjoy the mountains as much as I do. But I recently discovered that, and I love wintertime. Unlike most Chicagoans who might complain about winter, I love the snow. And I love the cold. And I don't like Chicago summers at all. And Vermont is probably one of the most beautiful places I know in the wintertime. So yes, longer term plan, that might be a place where I land. We'll see.
Okay. I think we're gonna get a poet back on screen here.
Excellent.
David, hold on a second. How do I do that and bring you back? And David, I don't think you ever met Carolyn.
I haven't.
Okay, David, this is Carolyn Carlson.
Hi, Carolyn Carlson.
When reading a
Hi, Dave.
when meeting a poet for the first time, what kind of questions do you normally ask her?
Well, you were asking those questions though.
Oh,
right?
okay.
First of all, she was born in she's lived in Berwyn, which makes me want to say Berwyn because
I
was
knew
raised
that was
in
gonna
Chicago
come
watching
eventually.
Swaguli.
And a couple of rubber chickens, I think, too.
Yep.
Berwyn.
Now,
I was just born there.
And What part of the Southwest side did you?
to where we lived. I was only born in the hospital.
Where did you live on the Southwest side? Was it in the suburbs?
That's a good question. It may have actually been. Wait a minute. Let me think about this. Oh, Bridgeview. That's what.
Okay.
Bridgeview, Illinois.
Bridgeview, that's down where
Okay.
Vito grew up in Orland, not Orland Park. God, where did Vito grow up? Somewhere down there.
Oak Park?
I know.
No,
I
Vito
was at
was
73rd and Roberts Road.
okay. He was.
And I only remember that. Goodness gracious, I was a tiny little girl. I only remember that. I'm pretty sure Resurrection Cemetery is right over there.
Yep.
And there were lots of spooky stories about somebody named Resurrection Mary.
Yep.
Which scared the bejesus out of me as a little tiny girl. I was like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like
Everything over
Mary,
there
what's
is
going on
haunted,
there?
though.
So, I'm
St.
glad that I
Rita's
don't live
Church
there
is
anymore.
haunted with the 6 monks. It's like so many ghost stories from that part. Is it part of the city?
Yeah. Vito grew up in Oak Lawn with Dina Stewart. They both grew up there. And Bachelor's Grove Cemetery is further south.
And now everybody's talking about starting their poetry in one ear. Was this at the Heartland Cafe or was it still at No Exit?
No, it was at Heartland Cafe. Yeah, I just started reading. Oh my gosh, I want to say in 2018. No, 2017. I think it was 2017, October 2017.
Well, I wasn't on screen for your poem, but I was watching the Facebook Live. It was really good.
Thank you.
I liked that piece.
I appreciate that. I was scared to death to come out and read poetry. And what I have found is, everybody in this community is so supportive and welcoming. And you meet so many interesting people. You would never believe that this person, has this thing going on in their head or in their soul or wherever it is,
And the more you
and they
know
put it
about.
down on paper. It's fascinating to me. I'm delighted to, have met as many people as I have.
We are a psychology student's smorgasbord.
Yes, we are.
Hopefully, it's even in this town. I swear to God.
Anyways, I'm going to kick you off, and we're going to get our next poet.
All right, Dave and David, thank you very much, and everybody else have a really good night. Stay safe and healthy.
You too.
You
Talk
too.
to you soon.
Thanks for reading. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now we have a very, very rare treat, David. What he said that resistance, or what is that? Is that how you say that? Leonard would know, but I don't know how to say that.
It's the big dog.
The big dog. Okay, I'm gonna bring the big dog on. Big Joe. So Big Joe is from out of town, and I haven't talked to him very much for a long time. But let's see what Big Joe has to say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one, the only Mr. Joe Rory. And Joe Rory is a phenomenal performer. And Joe Rory is the author of 2 books. I have a book called Horn that he's in. And he also has a book called Choruses too. Hi, Joe. I got you I got you on the line here. Can you turn down your Facebook sound? Okay. And I'm going to put you on speakerphone. David and I are here, and we're running a little bit later than I expected, but I'm going to put you on. Here you go. Can everybody hear this, man?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Joe.
Joe, Chicago really misses you.
Well, I think of my friends in Chicago all the time, frequently.
Okay. When are you coming back?
I hope everyone's doing well.
Most of the poets are pretty healthy, I think.
That's good.
Janet Kuiper says she's watching from Austin, Texas. Gina Stewart says hi, Joe.
Hello.
And we got a lot of people watching you tonight. And I want to thank you so much for being on too.
Well, thanks for doing it.
Okay. Now, where did you start performing and reading materials?
Boy, that's so. Well, I know I read it to get me high when you had the bookstore.
Uh-huh. I read it.
And
I read it.
Gillian Anderson was doing folk singing at what was that place?
Orbis?
Yeah, maybe that was. Yeah, it was the coffee shop,
On the,
and they had the William Carlos Williams poem on the steps.
and it was on the second floor.
It was like you'd go up the steps, and there was the William Carlos Williams poem. I left the plum for you, or I ate the plums. They were so cool and sweet. It was back in the 80s. It was in the 80s in Wicker Park.
I'm pretty sure that was Orbis, right off of North Avenue, just east of.
Anyway, I never read there. I'm just bringing this up because I know Gillian Anderson played guitar there and sang folk songs.
Wow. I remember reading, the first time I read it to get me high was 1985.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
And Mark ran it 1985 to 1988, 1989, something like that.
Yeah, you guys make me feel so young. I wasn't even out of high school yet. I couldn't get into the Get Me High Lounge.
No kidding? You're that young of a tyke?
I'm the great equalizer. I'm like the first of the Gen X poets in this town.
Wow. You're like a super youngster. Where was the first places you were, like, did you develop your style anywhere, Joe? Or was it just right out of the starting gate you were,
Oh, no, it took me a long time to get where I am today.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, years and years. Steady work, just nose to the grindstone all the time.
You had mentioned, when we were talking about Michael McClure, you mentioned abstract poetry.
Well, with Michael McClure, he wanted to be a painter. And he left where he was from, which I think it was someplace in Idaho. And he went to New York City, not New York, he went to San Francisco, and that was the 50s. So abstract expressionism, that's what he wanted to be, was an abstract expressionist painter. But he decided he didn't want to paint, he wanted to write poetry, but he wanted to be an abstract expressionist poet. So that was his first orientation.
Okay. I'm going to try to do something here really quick to fix the feed a little bit better. I'm going to see if David could actually see me if I go like that. Okay. I got a Mickey Mouse setup here, Joe, which is kind of crazy. Now you had two books. You had Horn and Choruses 2.
Well, Horn and there's another one called Sheets that I did with Paul Ryan. Those were like art books where the photography, the pictures, there was a whole concept. I had the book with Wayne Allen Jones. That was more of a regular chapbook, choruses. And then I got a book published in Philly called Maury Todd. Another chapbook.
Okay. What was it called?
Maury Todd. Maury Todd is like it's like a crimes song. It's a song about murderers, or the classic Maury Todd is Mac the Knife.
Okay.
Mac the Knife is a Maury Todd
Uh-huh.
about a criminal.
Who do you think really what poets influenced you?
Well, I'll tell you. Just Michael McClure died recently. But I thought he was a great poet. I thought he was a really great poet. Psychedelic, really, a psychedelic poet, and a tremendous feeling for nature, and a tremendously musical poet. Really. So just as far as a guy, that I really liked to read.
I remember there was a book that I one of the earlier poetry books that I read was a book by him, and I would have images from his poetry come up to me in my regular day-to-day adventures. I'm like, wow, this reminds me of Michael McClure. I remember one, I was in a hotel room somewhere, and he had a poem about throwing long shadows on the walls or something.
Yeah.
And the cars outside of this motel were throwing the exact things that Michael McClure was talking about.
Hmm.
So I mean, I don't know if I was influenced by him, but I connected with him. Let's put it that way. But do you consider yourself doing abstract poetry at all?
I really, one thing I figured out was you can use rhythm to write a poem. Because I didn't have a lot of structure.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted, and you can use a rhythmic line, and that helps you to structure a poem. So, I mean, as far as a formal element, it's probably rhythm is the most important thing. Ezra Pound said image, sound, thought. Those are the three elements.
Image, sound, and thought.
I guess I try to incorporate those three elements. But music is probably the most successful.
Okay. I know you use a lot of percussion in your poetry.
Right.
And you do it masterfully. Most people don't know how to use it.
I was reading, and somebody put it on Facebook. This was not too long ago. So I was standing at a lectern, and I had the drum. So I'm reading the poem, and I'm banging on a drum. But you can't really see anything below my waist, because I'm at the lectern. So somebody typed in on Facebook, I couldn't tell whether he was reading a poem or jacking off.
Huh?
Think you need to hold the drum a little higher, Jeff.
Yeah.
People should be able to tell that, okay?
Talk
And
about
dude, I've
not
seen you
having
play
any
the drum
pants
and
on.
be hurting yourself.
Anyways, are you reading a lot out in Ohio?
Oh, well, I'm in Philadelphia.
You're in Philadelphia, okay.
I'm actually just outside of Philly. And, there's a reading in Philly I go to, and then there's one up in New York that I go to. So, I've been able to keep a schedule. Now that's all blown to hell, of course, but
Yeah.
hopefully at some point.
Hopefully all those venues will survive, too.
Hope to God, yes.
The Gallery Cabaret is in a little bit of trouble right now.
I can imagine there's many that are in trouble.
Well, the landlord has decided he doesn't want an art bar there anymore.
Wow, that place has been there for so long. My God.
That was my first feature. That was the first time AMC was there. The first time I had Jägermeister was there. I mean, it's a lot of first times for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They took the mural down that was on the wall next to it, on the side of the building. The landlord's gone and he's sandblasted it all off, I guess. Anyways, it's going to be a disappointment if these places don't reopen.
It's going to be a disappointment, but you know the cabaret was like an institution. It's sad that people are trying to get rid of the art bars. The last thing we need is another sports bar in this town. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. Heartland Cafe was torn down.
What?
They closed the Heartland Cafe, and the people who own the building went and razed it to the ground.
My God.
The Heartland Cafe is now a flat space full of weeds.
Wow.
With a fence around it that everybody has painted memorial kind of thing, graffiti to the Heartland Cafe.
And weeds moved too, right? Before any of this happened a couple years ago. The Weeds show isn't at Weeds anymore.
No, it went to the Hideout, and now the Hideout I think is closing because they gave a whole bunch of money to rehab Goose Island, and they decided I don't know if the Hideout's going to be there. Yeah, it's a different world right now. No more no exit cafe kind of stuff. It's I don't know. So Joey, you need to come back and take over Chicago.
Yeah.
Last year was supposed to be.
I'll take over. Don't worry about it. I'm coming back. I'm taking over. Heads will roll.
What? Well, okay. Yeah, some people are saying that no more sports bars on the internet feed. So, Joe, give us a poem.
Okay. One time I was in my hellhole. I thought I saw light. I thought, is this a dream? It was the future. Everybody gets borscht. Everybody gets a red flag. Everybody gets a new shirt that they never wear because nobody wears clothes. There are no abortions. Nobody ever gets in trouble. It's all mowing the lawn and bringing up baby. I was in my hellhole. The stars were in the sky. I see them up above me. I hear the dark bells tolling, inconsolable, until they turn to words. Some names, some just words. You carry in your pocket. You put into machines, or put upon a counter, or put in someone's hand. Or names you can't even touch, or barely even look at, until your eyes start shining, burning in your head, the only light around in my dark hellhole. People think they're stars, Leo, Scorpio, Venus. There's my one true Venus. What words lead to beauty? What words lead to war? Doors that shut and open, leading where they lead. God knows I know that I don't. Down here in my hellhole, in my cul-de-sac, rattling in the hours between the chair and table. Oh, what a
God, I
rush.
miss you, Joe.
My cell phone, my speaker phone is getting low on charge right now.
Oh, boy.
But I'm going to play Cracktopia after we got off the show, and I was wondering, what can you tell us about Cracktopia? It was a CD that you gave me years and years ago.
Right.
Was it ever commercially available?
Well, I tried to sell it.
Okay.
I tried to sell it. The guy who did the art got in a big fight with me because he thought I was keeping all the money. And I'm like, I haven't sold any. It was like. So, I would take it, I would put it in my bag and take it to poetry readings. I I didn't have many bakers, I can tell you that. I'm glad you enjoy it.
I don't know if you gave me one or I bought one. I mean,
Yeah.
was I the guy that bought the one?
Very possible.
Anyways, I'm gonna play that, and I know that was inspired by the neighborhood you were living in.
Well, it was the times.
Yeah.
It was the times.
It was really about the office we were working in.
Well,
oh, you guys work together. I forgot about that. You guys were rich stockbrokers or something.
yeah, we were rich.
Yeah, that's
stockbrokers.
it.
You're right, Dave. Yeah. We're sitting on a big pile of money now. You can't see us with our
Look at
all the
me,
money
I'm
with
Scrooge
all the
McDuck.
cash. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm glad you're healthy out there. And
Everybody stay healthy.
yeah, and I think the world might get back more to normal one of these days. But like I said, my speakerphone is dying, so I want to get you online again in a couple weeks. What do you think?
Well, I'm not doing anything, so there's a very good likelihood you'll be able to.
Okay, let me get you off.
Yay!
Let me get you off right now. David, you got anything to say to Joe?
Just that it was great to hear you again, Joe. I need to hear more. So, in a
Take care
couple
of
of weeks when you're
yourself,
back on,
Dave.
I will
You're
be
looking
very pleased.
good.
Okay. Anyways, we'll talk to you later. I'm gonna put on Cracktopia for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody stay online and listen. You can hear more of Joe Rorty with this CD right here. I don't know if you can see it. It says Cracktopia, and we're gonna do it, and we're gonna put it online, and you're gonna be able to hear Joe Rorty in a few minutes. So
Am I staying here or are you unzooming me?
I'm gonna unzoom you because the sound that I have, I need for Cracktopia.
Okay. So, everybody, I'm going to disappear and join us next week for Dave is Frustrated by Technology. It's a great show here on Facebook Live.
Anyways,
and enjoy
okay,
Cracktopia.
hold on a second. Mike is upgrading the gallery interior and plans to reopen. Hopefully you can get along with the landlord. Tressa just told us that.
Yay!
So, thank you, Tressa. And yes, let's keep everything open. And anyways, I'm going to get Joe off the line. Thank you, Joe, for being on.
Okay, thank you.
I want to get you on before it dies. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
David, did you have fun?
I did.
Okay, I could see you over here. I can't see you over there. I see the Facebook feed over there. I see your face over here, and I know that if I go down like this, you could see me on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
But
Next time you might want me to.
Like this.
I paid for Zoom through, the first part of June, Dave. So
Okay.
I can do the Zoom stuff next week if you want.
So you Zoom me. I connect up with you on the iPad, and then I.
And you can still email us at the screen.
Yeah.
If you want.
Okay. And I'll put you on the screen, and that would work even better.
And maybe I can have guests.
Maybe, yeah. You could have guests. I mean, I think it would be really cool because I talked about some of the advantages of Facebook Live over Zoom. Okay, we're gonna put this. We have this on Facebook Live. We have an audience live on Facebook. Okay, and this is gonna stay on Facebook. So it's gonna be here for as long as we want it to be. And with Zoom, you can't share to such a big of an audience. So that's why I like Facebook Lives. But if we could run a Zoom through somebody's computer into Facebook Live, we got the best of two worlds.
Right, but I don't think you can do that yet.
Yeah, we could. We just put a whole bunch of people on your Zoom and do what we're doing now.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot.
We should probably.
I'll see what we can do.
We should probably test this stuff. Anyways, I'm going to kick you off, and I'm going to talk to you in a couple days. And thank you for helping me with this. And I'm going to put on Cracktopia.
All right, Dave.
Okay, bye. This is a Mickey Mouse operation, and welcome to Mickey Mouse Land. Because in Mickey Mouse Land, you never know what's going to happen. And here's my old iPad. I have no idea how old it is. And it did last week. What, Lydia? What did I did it last week? You Zoomed last week? You saved it in Facebook. Okay. And we were able to actually. I was able to get it in before we ran out of memory last time. And I think that this time we could do the same thing. Before we run out of memory on the phone, it'll be saved on Facebook Live. Last week we played David Hernandez's CD. And this week we're going to be playing a CD by Mr. Joe Rorty. And I need to change my sound system here slightly. And I need to find out where to plug this thing into. Because this thing plugs into... this thing plugs into this hole or this hole. Let's try plugging in that hole. And let's try playing Cracktopia by Joe Rorty. And hi, Janet Kuipers. I keep thinking of my tin periodic table program Paul wrote in his honor. Janet, you got a pretty cool periodic table group of poetry. I'm kind of jealous about it. And I'm really glad we had Joe Rorty on the phone tonight. And in the faraway reaches, we have a poet from the faraway reaches. And one of these days we're going to get Janet Kuipers on here, and she's from the faraway reaches too. And one of these days I'm going to be able to start this DVD and see if my sound is connected up okay. And if it is connected up okay, I'm just going to walk away and I'm going to go do the dishes. 10. Can somebody write us a poem in, post a poem in Facebook right now? That'd be pretty cool if somebody would actually share a poem in the other media part of this, because I've been having fun watching everybody's comments. I don't have time to respond to them, but I will get off here. And right now I'm closing all my tabs to get off the internet and get off of Zoom. And I'm desperately trying to open up this CD, and it doesn't want to cooperate with me. And I'm not sure why it doesn't want to cooperate with me, because it's spoiling the show, and it's making me just blab, blab, blab. If you think you can't decide to have it baked or have it fried, I guess it's because you never tried to eat something with worms inside. You know you cannot tell by sight, because usually it looks alright, but it wouldn't give your mouth an awful fright. For if you bite into a worm deep into his ectoderm, you'll find that it's not really firm, and then it will begin to squirm and yuck. So make a choice and don't be late about what you want out on your plate. If you take too long to debate, you may find you are eating bait. If you think the fat kid always ate too much, in fact, he ate a whole big bunch. One day I think that he will burst if ulcers do not get him first. That is called self-portrait. Okay, and why can't we open this drive 3? It's recognizing the DVD. Does anybody know anything about computers? Yes, Dina. Put a poem online there if we can. Mad Max, Lydia Gomez gave us a poem, and I'm going to read it. Mad Max runs wildly along all the backwoods, mountains, trails, beginning many of his own personal archaeological digs, bringing me his greatest discoveries, startling me with the extra set of teeth in his mouth I see. Okay, speakers, we got sound. Okay, now I want to start this DVD. I want to open this DVD, and I'm sorry, folks. I now know what engineers and people like that do. And they do stuff that I can't do. I really need a computer geek. Janet, can you type out a poem for us somewhere? Way far down the sidewalk there lives the beast with purple hair. Has big teeth and talons too, and I'm sure he'd like to eat up you. But don't be scared, it's very far. Too far for your mother's car. Me, of course, I went there twice, riding on some magic mice. These mice, where they have mostly lice, especially when cooked on ice. And these are mice you couldn't see. Pretty strange for a boy like me. But wait, I forgot about the purple beast. Man, he had a hearty feast of boys and girls and adults too, cooked up in a creamy stew. How did I escape, you ask? Well, I am smart and quick and fast. Just before I was to cook, I squeezed into a cranny nook. What's a cranny nook, you may ask? Well, finding what was quite a task. Just before I was to cook, I squeezed into a cranny nook, and this beastie stupidly mistook my struggling as that of mice, and so I thought, oh, how nice. So I crept up, and I hid him from behind. I was not being very kind. That is when at last I knew the beast, he was made of purple goo. When I hit him on the head, he oozed onto the floor, quite dead. See, everyone had been too scared of the big sharp teeth he bared, that no one ever faced him strong. They couldn't keep their courage long. Then I freed the girls and guys. They thanked me with grateful sighs. One kid named Lou, why, he was a gnome, so I let him lead the children home. I double-checked. The beast was dead, so I went home and went to bed. And we are having a problem here with reading our CD. And I didn't have a problem the other day. So I do want to apologize to the world out there if I'm not going to be able to get this to run. I really wanted to play this, and Joe was gracious enough to let me play it. And Dina just wrote a poem. And Dina wrote a poem called My Body. My body is a storage space of memories, muscle and emotional. Every movement and impression, every feeling a reflection. My body is a canticle, low notes and crescendos, a melody of aching, lyric singing of awakening. My body is a worshiper, shouts hallelujahs to her Savior, bends in praise to the earth that bolsters her. My body is an eulogy, mourns for many, a lost offspring, weeps with the knowing of its breaking. My body is inspiring. And that poem was full of like a very sweet sadness. So thank you for writing that and sending it to us. Okay, use space, Cracktopia. Cracktopia is telling us that nothing's available. So it is not reading the Cracktopia CD, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. Let's see, let's clean it off and put it back in and pop it in, and it was always just playing and starting. I'm sorry, Joe, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. And it almost wants to start a dozen times. Anyways, I don't know what the show is going to be next week. I haven't planned it out. This has been a busy week. I pretty much, as far as I know, at the poetry scene, everybody is moderately healthy or getting better. I know that Lynn Westcott was sick for a while, but she's gotten better. And Eric, he was problematic for a while, but yes, Eric is with us again. And why can I not play this CD? And because I can't play this CD that I could play the other day with this system, I'm going to give it one more try, and I'm going to read a poem Everybody's heard this poem, I think, but I'm going to read Remember the Crosses. In the desert southwest, they use small white crosses on the roadside to mark the spot of a tragic death, a traffic accident, or someone who died of exposure. I'm sure driver education teachers scowl and point to the side of the road saying, remember the crosses. Here in the Midwest, we are less sentimental. The holes in our guardrails are repaired nearly overnight. There's an old woman at the Cactus Bar and Grill. She inhales deeply on her schnapps. Her life is lonely and sad. She picks up her purse, slinging it over her shoulder like it was a cross of Jesus Christ himself. She walks stiff-legged to the door, and her life is so tragic that little white crosses appear everywhere she goes, following her home and springing up like needles on the floor that she paces at night. Across that sad, dry country, there is so much misery that the very earth of the desert moans, creating a resonance on every roadside, which says a signal across the rest of the nation, which says, remember the crosses, making crosses appear throughout the land, like mushrooms on your lawn, bare one day, there the next. Everywhere there is a hint of tragedy. A little white cross springs from the earth, like Arlington National Cemetery, gone mad. I look and I find myself surrounded by a sea of many crosses, the names, dates, places, all familiar to me. Echoing in my head, there is one phrase, remember the crosses. Although I close my eyes and ears, I hear, remember the crosses. And before me, a shady and indistinct cross appears with my name and date of birth written on it, waiting for me. I want to run away. I want to make this magical vision that allows me to see all the pain and suffering in the world fade away. You see, I've always wanted to make some place where people could come and hang their crosses by the door, a place where sadness and tragedy cannot penetrate. But this is something that I cannot do, for I was born in the Midwest, and in the Midwest, we are less sentimental. So I'm giving this one more try, and I'm a little bit behind on the Facebook feed here for some reason. I don't know why. And I want to thank everybody for sharing this. And I want to thank Leonard and Lydia and David and Dina and Vito for watching. And I want to give this another try, and then if this doesn't work, we'll try this next week. I'm Mickey Mouse Man here, and I don't know why. I'm Mickey Mouse Man today. I rehearsed this, and I guess it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. Anyways, thank you, Lydia. I don't know which poem you said was moving. It might be Worms. I don't know. That might have been moving. Love is such a strange thing in this world of ours. To have that connection, to even desire that connection with another, is something unnatural. I want to be a Siamese twin, connected at the hip, or sharing some vital organ, perhaps heart, with another. Now that would be a different experience. I want to be a Siamese twin, give myself a reason to be dependable, give someone a reason to be civil, be close to me, and wake in the morning at my side. I want to be a Siamese twin. I don't care who stares anymore. A monster, malformed, deformed, and unnaturally happy. That was Siamese Twin. And it looks like we're not going to be playing this CD tonight. So it looks like hopefully we'll be playing it next week. And I apologize to everybody, but I think we're gonna have to close out the show again due to technical difficulties. And thank you for listening in. And hi, Wesley Hine. And are you a Gemini? No, I'm not a Gemini. Do I act like a Gemini? Do I act like I'm a psychotic, double person? No, I'm not a Gemini. I am actually a Leo. And that's why I got this huge ego that needs to be satisfied by doing a Facebook show. Yes, I was born in Berwyn. I was born at McNeil Hospital in August, so I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo. I was born on a Monday, however. So I was Leo, and I was born, I was a Leo, and I was born on a Monday. So I'm a Leo that was born on the moon day. So I don't know what most poets are. Are most poets Gemini? Lydia's a Leo? Wow. You're like too little. You're too quiet of a person to be a Leo. To begin, insert a disc into the drive. Okay, we're going to try one more time to insert a disc into the drive. And the drive is not being read. Okay, Windows Media Player is. Do you want more information about the problem? Cancel. I do want more information about the problem. So anyways, I'm going to end this show, I think, because we're not doing well here. And, yes, I'm going to try this next week. Your dad is also a Leo. Tressa, your dad's a Leo? Tressa, you're probably a Cancer. I'm guessing Tressa's a Cancer. Her birthday is about July 20th. That's when I'm guessing Tressa's birthday is. Vito Carly, his birthday is in January. So Vito is Pisces, I believe. Let's see. Tressa might be a Scorpio, because Scorpios have all kind of problems to people. So they could be that too. Anyways, I hope the gallery is going to stay open, and I am going to end this show, and I need to walk over there and press a button to end the show. And we'll be back next Monday. I might be interviewing a publisher, and we'll see what happens. If I get this running in a little while, I might come back online and play Cracktopia for everybody. Vito Carly is an Aquarius. Okay, I knew you were a water sign, Vito. I got the wrong one. But nope, I'm a Libra. You're a Libra. That explains more. Okay, Libra. Libras are kind of the opposite of Geminis. Why did Lydia think I was a Gemini? Dave, you're a Gemini? I thought you would be a Leo, David. I don't know. But being born in Berwyn, like Carolyn, that was unusual. Yes, I was born in Berwyn. My sister was born in Berwyn. I lived in Cicero for most of my life. So Berwyn's right next door. We don't have a hospital in Cicero. So we're stuck going to Berwyn. Anyways, folks, if I could get Cracktopia up and running, I'm going to come back online. But right now, I'm going to get offline and go clean the flood in my basement. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Monday at 8 o'clock. And I had fun, and I hope you guys had fun. And I actually read some of my poetry that I wasn't intending to read. My poetry works well as filler. Okay, so I was using it as filler. and let's see what happens to the world. And I've been doing worldly stuff lately, and it's been fun. And I've been doing a lot of studying of different materials to be used in masks. And I recommend a layer of fine weave cotton, and I recommend a layer of fine weave cotton and silk underneath it. So thanks for coming, everybody, and I'm going to walk around and turn off the video.